Baby, you know when you step into Granny's house. Come on in, beloved.
Knock, knock, who's there? It's the truth at the door. Don't wipe your feet, just bring your mess to the floor. This ain't no bedtime story, no cookies and milk. It's a straight shot of wisdom, smoother than silk. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as cold, it's just what you need. Pull up your Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as cold, it's just what you need. Oh, pull up your chair, let the stories unfold. It's laughter, it's lessons, it's love made of gold. Got a question, ask it, we're not shy in here. This is a safe space, honey, come face your fear. Got the mic hot, got the bass line deep. Granny's got the groove you wanna keep. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Darling, lean in, we're breaking it down. Truth hits harder than the beat that pound. This is the spot where the real gets real. Granny's house is the place to heal. Lean in, we're breaking it down. Truth hits harder than the beat that pounds. This is the spot where the real gets real. Granny's house is the place to heal. Lean in, we're breaking it down. Truth hits harder than the beat that pounds. This is the spot where the real gets real. Granny's house is the place to heal. Lean in, we're breaking it down. Truth hits harder than the beat that pounds. This is the spot where the real gets real. Granny's house is the place to heal.
Granny ain't scared, and you better not be either. Welcome to Granny's house. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Granny's house. How are you doing tonight? We are at what? Season 2, episode 39. And you go, Granny, we have come a long way. Yes, we have. And I am so thankful for each and every one of you, all the likes and the shares and everything that you do. Before we get started, let's do what? Let's go talk about the rules. We do it every week. You already know what they are. Like, follow, and share. Like, follow, and share. If I'm on Facebook at Welcome to Granny's House. I'm also on Facebook at They Call Me What? They Call Me Granny. I'm on YouTube at They Call Me Granny, where you are right now. If you're on YouTube, stop. Thumbs up, and hang up with me tonight. Let them know you're enjoying your time. Instagram, They Call Me Granny. TikTok, Lemonade, any other place there is, child, I'm there at They Call Me Granny. Also, what? If you don't have your book, I'm trying to figure out why not. Get your book. It's phenomenal. And you go, Granny, what is it about? I don't know. I want you to read it. But you'll figure it out. We're going to talk about it later on at fatimanure.com. Fatimanure.com is where you grab your book. Also, what? All images or words spoken tonight, written that you may have put on a chat belong to who? They belong to Granny. And your attendance is your approval. Your attendance lets me know. You go, Granny, I said it. And I'm gonna leave it there. And I'm gonna leave it there too. Let's talk to our aunties and our TTs as they walk in the door. Hey, boo, walaikum salam. What you doing up? Walaikum salam. Greetings, greetings. Welcome to Granny's house. Say hey to all your cousins and bring your spinning night bag and put it in the living room. Hey, beloved, how you doing? She said it's so cute. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh, hey, there go our TT right there. She got her spinning night bag coming to hang at Granny's house. She ain't playing. She saying hey to all her cousins that's here already. Let's get started because it's a phenomenal show tonight. Tonight's show is faith, courage, and wisdom. I'm not gonna sing for you, but that's one of my favorite songs. She said, faith, courage, and wisdom. It's what? It's inside of me. And let's see if you got some inside of you tonight. So, what life has a funny way of putting you in situations where there isn't a sign hanging over the door telling you what to do. No, there are moments when you have to make a decision and you don't know how it's going to turn out. And there are moments when you know exactly what needs to be done, but doing it might cost you something. And then there are moments when everything in you wants to move, to speak, to fix, to confront. Some of us even defend or even respond. And the wisest thing you can do at this time is to what? Be still long enough to figure out whether you should. And that's where tonight's conversation begins because we love talking about faith. Yes, we do. We love talking about faith. We admire courage, and everybody wants to believe they're wise. Is that you? But life doesn't test those things one at a time. No, life will put you in a situation where your faith is saying, trust God, trust Him. Your emotions are saying, do something. And your fear is saying, don't you dare, girl, don't you do that. Don't you do that. Walk away. But your pride is saying, oh, we're not letting that, no, we're not letting that slide today. We flipping over all the tables, right? And somewhere underneath all that noise, all that's going on in your little head, wisdom is trying to say and get a little word in. And that's where it gets complicated because every open door isn't your door to walk in. Every open door isn't your door. Every closed door is not rejection. And every disagreement doesn't require a response from me. Every uncomfortable situation isn't something you're supposed to run from either. And every difficult situation isn't something you're supposed to stay in just to prove what? That you have faith. Sometimes God is asking you to trust. Trust me, he says. And sometimes life is requiring you to stand 10 toes down. And sometimes wisdom is telling you, girl, not yet. Not yet. Just hold on. Hold on. You've waited long enough. The challenge is knowing the difference. I've lived long enough to know that being brave doesn't automatically mean you're right. And being quiet doesn't automatically mean that you're wise. And saying I'm putting it in God's hands, you know how we do, I'm putting it in God's hands. That don't automatically mean you're operating in faith. Sometimes we're brave because we're angry. Sometimes we're quiet because what? We're scared. And sometimes we put things in God's hands because we really don't want to deal with it. And that's what's sitting right in our laps to deal with. Is that us? And that's why tonight isn't about learning those three little words. No, we're going to talk about what happens when those words have to become decisions. Because there all comes a time when you have to ask yourself, do I need enough faith to wait? Do I need enough courage to move? Or do I need enough wisdom to stop? Look at this situation clearly and figure out which one is actually required of me. And that's not easy. It's not an easy answer all the time. Because sometimes the thing you want to do, the one thing you know to do, are standing on the opposite sides of the room. Is that you? Is that what's happening with us? And sometimes doing what's right will disturb your peace before it even creates peace. It's like sometimes we're standing for what we believe will cost people you thought would have stood beside you. You thought they would have had your back, but child, as soon as your strength and your faith came up and your courage got strong, they did what? They cowered out. And sometimes trusting God means accepting that you don't get to know how the story ends before you're required to take the next step. So tonight we're going to have a grown up conversation, not about whether we have faith. No, not about whether we're courageous. Mm-mm. Not about whether we've gained some wisdom along the way. We're going to ask something harder. Can I recognize which one this moment is calling for? And when I recognize it, do I have enough of the other two to follow through? Because maybe real maturity isn't knowing exactly what to do all the time. Maybe it's learning how to quiet fear, ego, impatience, comfort, and emotion long enough to hear the moment is trying to teach you. So tonight we're talking about faith, courage, and wisdom, and more importantly, knowing which one the moment requires. So come on in the house, y'all. Let's get started. I see I got some more TTs walked in the building. My sis said, so let it be. Come on. Hey, and walaikum salam. We are so happy to see you. Let's get started. Let's get it going. Faith, courage, and wisdom. Know which one the moment requires. The each three words have a different job. You agree they have a job? Yes, they each have a job. Faith answers, who do I trust when I cannot see how this is going to work out? Faith says, I trust Allah. Oh, I trust God. I trust Him, even though I don't understand this. But courage answers, what am I willing to do because of what I believe? Courage also says, I'm not scared, but fear doesn't get to make this decision. Now we're talking about some wisdom. Wisdom answers, what is the right response at the right time in the right way? And that's when your wisdom says, just because I can do something doesn't mean it's the moment to do it. Just because you can, sometimes don't mean you should. And here's where people get in trouble. People. We ask faith to do courage's job. And we ask courage to do wisdom's job. And sometimes they already have the wisdom. Sometimes we already have the wisdom. We just don't have the courage to follow it. Do we have no courage? And that's why we need what? We need all three. All three have to work together for the good. Faith keeps you standing. Courage keeps you speaking. Wisdom keeps you from regretting what you said and what you didn't. Not every battle needs your voice, but every truth deserves your respect. Granny. Faith doesn't mean you don't have any questions. And faith doesn't mean you don't have the questions. Sometimes we think strong faith means never wondering. God, what in the world is happening? Oh, we've asked this a many times. Oh, help me. Why is this going on with me? What? No. Faith isn't knowing the outcome. Faith is trusting God without requiring Him to show you the ending first. Can we do that? Do we have that kind of faith that we trust God without requiring to know how this is going to end? You can be disappointed and still have faith. Yes, you can be uncertain and still have faith. And you can say, I don't know how this is going to work out, child. I don't know, without saying, God can't work this out. And these are two completely different statements. Quick example. Your job announces layoffs, and all of us have been through something like that. Your job goes, you know what? We can't afford all these people no more. The economy is different. So we laying some people off. And you get a little red. We see them little red stickers, right? The pink slips, they call them. But faith says, oh, I'm not going to panic. Whatever happens, I believe God can work it out, even this. That's what faith says. Faith says, what? I'm not gonna panic. Whatever happens, I believe God can work it out. He can even work this out. Yes, he does. But faith doesn't mean that you sit at your desk saying, well, God got me. I ain't gonna do nothing. I know I got this pink slip, but God got me, girl. Yes, you know, we all do that. While everyone else is updating their resume because they've been at their job for about 20 years. But you sit at the table, oh girl, God got me. Too blessed to be stressed. And that's where wisdom enters. Wisdom walks in the door and says, you know what wisdom says? He says, update that resume, girl. Go update that resume. But check your money too. Because you was about to empty that Amazon cart till you realize, ooh, I got a pink slip. And also start looking at different opportunities. Because the world is changing. You're a different person. You're not the same person from 20 years ago, right? And then courage walks in. And courage says, girl, apply for that position. Go on, brother, apply for that new position that you didn't think you was qualified enough for. Because maybe 20 years ago you weren't qualified for it. But now you are, right? The same problem, but all three working together. All three are working together for good. Faith is a place of mystery where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see. And what? The strength to let go of fear of uncertainty. The fear of uncertainty. Don't call fear wisdom. Don't call fear wisdom. Some of us have learned how to make fear sound mature. Ooh, is that us? I'm just choosing my battles, girl. I'm not fighting all these. I pick my battles wisely. Maybe. But sometimes you don't choose your battles. You choose your comfort. And there's a difference between wisely deciding something doesn't require your intervention and being afraid of what might happen if you speak up. So ask yourself, if there were absolutely no consequences for speaking up, would I still remain silent? That's my question to you. If there were no consequences, absolutely none, for speaking up, would you still be silent? Because if your answer is no, maybe wisdom isn't what's keeping you quiet. Fear is. Example. You're sitting in a meeting, we've all been there, and somebody takes credit for all the work you're doing. Oh, they come in there and they go, and we did this, we did that, and I. We've been to the I show with people. And you know they didn't do a doggone thing. You know that ain't right. Fear says, don't say anything. Don't say anything. They're going to just think you're difficult. Oh, girl, be quiet. Because then they're going to think you're a rabble rouser. Be quiet. And fake wisdom, because a lot of us have that. Your fake wisdom says, girl, I'm just going to let it. I'm going to let God handle it. I ain't going to do nothing. God will get her. But actual wisdom says, don't embarrass them in front of everybody. Don't blast her out in front of everybody. Speak to the proper person at the proper time, right? Privately. But when you go in there, you take all of your information you need to prove that you did that work privately. And then your faith walks in the door, and faith says, my provision doesn't depend on me acting out of character. Faith is reminding you, do not flip the table just because you know she's lying. And here comes Mr. Courage. He walks right behind, and Courage says, but I'm going to advocate for myself. I'm going to say something, but it's a way of how I'm going to say it, right? And that's the balance. That's when they're all working together for good. Let's see what Granny had to say.
Asking God for a sign when He already showed you what needs to be done. Faith doesn't always mean sit still. Sometimes faith says, trust me, wisdom says, this is the moment, and courage says, get up and do it. The hard part is knowing which voice you're hearing.
Granny said, the hard part is knowing which voice are you listening to? Which one are you listening to? So don't call recklessness courage. And this is me. That's what. Some people think courage means, oh, I'm gonna say what I said. I don't care who don't like it, girl. I'm gonna say it anyway. Sometimes that's courage. Sometimes. And sometimes that's just a lack of self-control. Courage isn't measured by how loud you are or how loud you were at that situation. That's not courage. It's measured by whether you are willing to do the right thing despite the cost. Here comes Mr. Wisdom. And he asks, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Good question, right? Or does it need to be said right now? Do we say it right now? And will the way I'm about to say it help? Or am I just trying to release my frustrations? And that's where courage needs wisdom. This is where they start running together, right? Like buddies. Because you can be completely right, but completely wrong in how you said it. You can be completely right all the way, but your delivery just killed all of what you had to say. And maybe what you had to say was perfectly right, made really good sense. Bravery is the audacity to be unhindered by failures and to walk with freedom, strength, and hope in the face of things unknown. Is that you? My sis said, she guilty. I'm guilty too, baby. Trust me, I'm guilty too. Don't call passivity faith. I'm leaving all this in God's hands. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to leave all this in God's hands. Okay. But did God already put something in your hands? Did he already give you a way to handle it? But you was too scared to do it? Because sometimes we're waiting for God to do something he has already given us the ability, opportunity, information, and responsibility to do. You prayed for direction, right? And you got direction. He gave it to you. And now you're praying about the direction. Wow, should I do it this way? But he told you exactly how to do it. Gave you all green lights and everything you're about to do. Lord, if this is really what you want me to do, let me know. Give me another sign. Meanwhile, here comes Mr. Wisdom. He just standing there looking at you, saying, we already discussed this. We discussed this and we prayed 3 times, 3 prayers ago. We're not going to keep talking about it. And Mr. Faith doesn't remove responsibility. No. Sometimes faith is exactly what gives you the courage to accept your responsibility to do what you know you have to do. Hey, Queen. She said, I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you for the beautiful little heart. Thank you. How all 3 work together. They're running mates, right? They are running mates. How do all 3 work together? Well, real life rarely hands us situations labeled, use your faith here. Usually all 3 are talking and they're having a little conversation together. And we have to use what? We have to learn their order. Sometimes faith steadies you. Sometimes wisdom directs you. And sometimes your courage moves you. Example, in case you're not understanding what I'm saying. A different marriage conversation. Some things has been bothering you. And you're like, oh, something's been bothering me. But faith says what? I believe this relationship can survive an honest conversation. And I don't have to operate from fear. I don't have to be scared to talk. And then your wisdom comes up. Remember, they all 3 partners. Wisdom says, don't start this conversation now, girl. You angry. Don't do it. Just wait. You're angry. You're exhausted. Don't do it when you're exhausted. And please don't do it as you walking out the door. Because every time we start them conversations, we walk out the door, wherever we land, we take all that with us. And you in Walmart still talking about something that happened 2 days ago at your house. Leave it behind that door. But Mr. Courage comes up. And what does courage say to us? Courage says, but I'm not going to keep pretending everything is okay. just to avoid the discomfort. And now all three are what? They're working together. They're working together simultaneously because the faith keeps you from assuming the worst. Your wisdom chose the proper timing and your approach. And then your courage did what? It opened your mouth to start that needed conversation. I didn't say scream match, I said that needed conversation. Wisdom is the ability to make sound decisions based on knowledge and experience. It helps navigate life and clarity and purpose. And that's wisdom. Sometimes wisdom tells courage to go sit down. Somebody makes a slick comment, and we've been around people making slick comments. Ooh, sometimes my ears be just perked up because I know I'm going to be around certain people, and I know they're going to say something slick, and I'm already prepared. Somebody makes a slick comment, and what? You heard it. You heard it. And they know you heard it. They know you heard it. And courage walks in first. Courage says, oh, we're addressing this today. We are saying something. How dare she? Then wisdom walks in, and wisdom says, ooh, hold on. No, we're not. No, not today. We're not. And that's not weakness. That's not weakness. Because courage isn't proving that you're willing to fight everybody. Courage is not proving that you know you'll flip a table. Sometimes courage is having enough control over yourself not to respond when your ego desperately wants the last word. Are you the queen or the king of the last word? Because faith will walk in and faith says, I don't have to defend myself against everything. No. And then wisdom comes in and says, you know what? This conversation produces what? Nothing. Ain't no money coming out of it. It's wasting my time. And courage walks in and says, you know, that I'm going to just walk away. I'm going to walk away from this miserable person. We're not going to accept their invitation to this misery that they have right now. So you see how courage changed? Courage changed. Sometimes courage makes you confront. And sometimes courage makes you do what? Leave. Walk on right out the door. Wisdom tells courage to get up. Sometimes wisdom has to tell courage, girl, you better get up. I don't want people leaving tonight thinking that wisdom always means be silent. No. Sometimes your wisdom says you've waited long enough. How long are you going to wait? You waited long enough. You see somebody being mistreated, and this is me. Oh, I see somebody being mistreated, and you know it's wrong. And you have the ability and the intellectual what? Opportunity mentally to intervene appropriately. To intervene appropriately. But faith says doing what's right may cost something. But God is bigger than what I might lose. And this was me. I was in a situation, I'm not going to call no names to spare people who may be living or not living anymore. But I was somewhere and I watched someone being mistreated. And I'm watching multiple months of someone's being mistreated. And faith told me, you have to do something. And it's going to cost you something when you do it. But is God bigger than what you think you're going to lose? And are you going to be able to handle it when you lose it? And then wisdom walked in, and wisdom says, don't make this about yourself. Figure out what would actually help the person that's being harmed. Figure it out. Figure out how to help them from being harmed. And then courage walked in, and courage says that I'm going to do it. And I did it. And knowing that I was going to do what I had planned in mind to do, being backed up by others that didn't have the same faith, courage, and wisdom that I had, that I thought I had, right? Because I realized that they were running together, but I had them running out of order. But I had to do what I had to do. That's when my courage came in. Now, remember, we also said that I had to have the faith to deal with what will happen with me doing this. It's a long story. Maybe one day we'll get into it. And that's completely different from running into a situation because you want everybody to see how righteous you are. Wisdom asks, what helps? Ego asks, what makes me look brave? And that's where I realized that my attempt was pure in heart. I figured it was. But I was not using faith, courage, and wisdom in their proper timing, in their proper way. Because in this situation, courage for me would have been to handle it in a different way so that I would not have disturbed or let others down in what I had the faith to do and the courage to do. If I let you down in this situation, I'm very sorry. It was not my intention. But I do know that God has something much bigger for me because I was able to take that step. And we say again, wisdom asks what helps, but ego asks what makes me look brave. Give me the wisdom to know what must be done and the courage to do it. We're at the halfway mark, and I'm so happy to have you all here. We're talking about faith, courage, and wisdom. Faith, courage, and wisdom. Are we developing and learning something tonight? I hope we are. And as we get to learn, let's see what our little granny had to do. Because we had somebody around her that had some faith, courage, and wisdom. And you may have one of them here in your house too.
I quit my job.
You got another one?
Nope, I'm walking by faith.
Boy, you ain't walking by faith. You walking toward my refrigerator. Faith told you trust God. Wisdom told you keep that job till another one came. And courage better tell you to close my refrigerator.
Granny said, close my refrigerator. Since you quit your job, you can't afford nothing in my refrigerator. Get up out of it. We are so happy to have you here. Let's see. We have one of my TTs just walked in the door. Hey, babe, running late. You never running late. You right on time. You are right on time. The hardest part, when you don't know which one you need. And sometimes we genuinely don't know. We really don't. We ask our question, do I wait or move? Do I wait right now or do I move? Do I speak or do I stay quiet? Do I hold on or do I let go? Do I trust the process or change the situation? And this is where discernment matters. Don't make a permanent decision simply because you have a temporary emotion. Give yourself enough quiet to separate what I fear, what I want, what I know, what I believe. Because these four voices can sound very familiar to you when you're upset. And sometimes wisdom needs enough silence to what? Be heard. My sister Fantasia said, sometimes you got to lose to win again. Yes, you do. Come on, sis. Sometimes you got to lose to win again. Knowledge is knowing what to say. And wisdom is knowing when to what? To say it. When to say it. So we have a 3-question check. Let's have a 3-question check. We're going to figure out how to deal with these. When you're struggling with a decision, ask yourself, here's faith. Am I making this decision because I trust God or because I'm afraid of what might happen? Wisdom asks you, based on what I actually know, what response is the most responsible and appropriate response right now? And then courage walks in, and courage says, once I know what's right, am I willing to do it even if it's uncomfortable? Because the last question matters the most. Being discernment isn't complete until you're willing to obey what you discerned. Knowing better isn't the finish line. Sometimes the 3 don't arrive all at the same time. No, they don't. Each don't come together. There are seasons where faith comes first, and you don't know what to do yet. Trusting God is wisdom. Knowing God is peace. Loving God is strength. Faith in God is courage. That's courage. So don't manufacture an answer because you're uncomfortable with uncertainty. Trust, wait, and pay attention. Pay attention. And then wisdom begins to reveal the next step. And once you recognize the step, courage may be required. Once you recognize it now, this is where courage is required. And that's when sometimes, in some things that look like waiting yesterday, can be procrastination for tomorrow. Yesterday, you genuinely didn't know. Today, you know. The requirement of you changed. My sister, to use these words in due season and time. Come on, sis. That's our hardest. What time? A real life test is walking away. Can you walk away? Suppose you've been in a situation for years that you know wasn't healthy. The people around you wasn't healthy. The situation just was, it was just disturbing all of your peace. And it's not necessarily your marriage. We good. Mind your business. It could be a friendship. It could be a business relationship. It could be even an organization. Maybe a habit or environment that you're in right now. And at first, Mr. Faith walks in and Faith says, God can bring me through this. Good. That's good, right? But then you receive information and patterns become undeniable. And patterns of other things that you go, you know what? Well, God's going to bring me through this because I know I said what I said and I watch other people say and do the same exact thing and they may got a little spanking. They for speaking out of turn. But it's not going to happen the way I think it's going to happen, right? But then the patterns became different for you. It happened for me. And then wisdom says, stop judging the situation by what you hope it becomes. Look at what it constantly is. It's constantly the same. It's not changing no matter what I do. And now you know. But knowing creates another problem. What? Because leaving is scary. Leaving something that you already were so comfortable in, you were doing it good, or whatever part about you were just molded right there, and you were doing a great job, or you were part of something that was just phenomenal. But it's time for you to walk away. Leaving is scary. And that's where your courage walks in. Courage says, I trust God with what comes next. I accept what wisdom has shown me, and I know I have enough courage to act accordingly. I'm not going to go in there cussing and screaming and acting a fool. I'm going to take what was given to me with a smile and handle it the best way I know how. And that's all three, not fighting each other, but working together. Faith, courage, and wisdom. The courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. Success belongs to those who step forward with fear in their hearts and determination in their souls. So faith without action can become an excuse. Is faith without action an excuse for us? Our misuse of it is. How we misuse it is and how we make excuses for ourselves. Faith can become the language we use to avoid difficult responsibility. And courage without wisdom can become recklessness. Thank you for hanging out with us today. And wisdom without courage can become knowing better while what? Continuing to do the same thing. The same thing. And that's the imbalance we're exposing tonight. This is what we've been talking about for the last 40 minutes. Because you can know exactly what you need to do for about 5 years. You know exactly what you need to do. That's knowledge, right? And you can understand why you need to do it. And that's your wisdom. But eventually you're going to need some courage. You're going to need some courage. And do you have that courage? Courage, not the absence of fear, but faith walking forward anyway. Courage is not loud, it often whispers. Keep going. Don't quit. You going. You got this. The same person may need something different tomorrow. Doesn't make one of these virtues your entire personality. Don't make neither one of these your only personality. You may walk around, grab a fighter. You know, I will set it off. I will slash your tire. Y'all don't know me. Okay, that's you. But maybe this situation doesn't require you to fight. It doesn't. Maybe not fight with your hands. I'll just give it to God. I'll just give it to God. That's beautiful. But maybe this time you're required to participate in the answer. I'm just going to stay out of it. I'm going to stay out of other people's business. I'm going to drink my water and mind all my business. That's usually wise, right? But what happens when somebody genuinely needs you to stand beside them? What happens? Maturity isn't always responding the same way. Maturity is having enough discernment to respond appropriately. Can you respond appropriately? And here comes the balance. Here comes where we start to balance ourselves. But let's see what happened with Granny as she was dealing with this little red.
I got courage. I say what I mean when I mean it. Baby, courage without wisdom is just you being loud with consequences.
So, we thinking first now?
That would be the miracle.
He said, we thinking first now? And that's me. That's that little part of me that goes, we thinking first now. And Jesus said, that's the miracle. It probably was a miracle when he's talking to me too. Like, she's actually going to think. And she's going to think before she... Very, very few, right? We're going to do that now. The balance. Faith keeps courage from becoming desperation. Because I don't believe everything depends on me. Wisdom keeps courage from becoming reckless. Because I don't have to react simply because I can. And courage keeps wisdom from becoming intellectual exercise. Because eventually what I know has to affect what I do. And wisdom keeps faith from being used as an excuse for passivity, for being just weak and passive, right? Because sometimes the answer to the prayer includes instructions on how to handle the situation. So maybe the prayer isn't simply, God, give me faith. God, give me faith. Help me with this one. Maybe that's not simply the little bit of prayer we need to say. Maybe it's give me faith when I need to trust. Give me courage when I need to move. Ooh, Black Jesus, help me. Give me the wisdom to recognize which one the time and the moment requires. And when the moment requires all three, give me enough faith to trust you, enough wisdom to recognize the right course, and enough courage to actually take it. Because the goal isn't to become the person who always waits. No. Or the person who always fights. Or even the person who always knows. The goal is to become the person who can discern what the moment requires and has the character to do it. It takes immense bravery to continue to walk on with God in faith when life hurts and things don't make sense. You're doing great. Keep trusting Him. Keep trusting Him. Because what?
Stop feeding people who just want a plate to go. They ain't here for you, just the free food. It's time to reclaim your peace, your time, and your table. Kick them to the curb and let them go. That's Granny's plan, honey.
Granny said if they wanted to go play child, kick them to the curb and let them go. Let them go. So tonight before we leave the house, I want you to think about whatever is sitting heavy on your mind right now. Not somebody else's situation, yours. That decision you've been going back and forth about. That conversation you've been rehearsing in your mind over and over and over like a good song. That opportunity you've been afraid to take. That job you know you want. That situation you've been praying about over and over and over again. And that thing you know isn't right, but you haven't quite figured out what you're supposed to do about it. Maybe tonight you don't need another answer. Maybe you need to figure out which part of you needs to show up next. Because sometimes we keep asking God to change the situation when the situation may be revealing something that needs to change in us. Maybe you already have faith, but now you're being asked to move. Maybe you've got plenty of courage, but you need to slow down long enough to make sure you're not allowing your emotion to choose a direction. And maybe you already know exactly what needs to happen. You've known for a while. You know for a long while. You just haven't found the courage to do it. And your wisdom has been telling you, that's life. Girl, that's life. And that's why I don't want anybody leaving here tonight thinking wisdom means you always know exactly what to do. Sometimes wisdom simply says, don't make this worse while you're figuring it out. Don't make a decision tonight because you're angry. Don't give up tomorrow because you're hurt. And don't burn down a whole relationship because of one conversation. Don't stay somewhere where you shouldn't be because leaving scares you. And don't confuse being uncomfortable with being in the wrong place. Sometimes growth is uncomfortable, and truth can be uncomfortable, and doing the right thing can be uncomfortable. And yes, sometimes trusting God can be uncomfortable too. Faith doesn't promise us that everything will make sense while we're going and walking through it. And courage doesn't promise us that doing what's right won't cost us anything. And wisdom doesn't promise that everybody will understand the decision that we make. What they give us is something better, a way to move through life without allowing fear, our ego, or even our impulse to make every decision for us. And I want you to remember something. You will not always get it right. There will be times when you speak and later realize you should have waited. There will be times when you wait and later realize you should have spoken up. You should have said something. And there will be times when you thought you were walking by faith and discover you were holding on to something because you were too afraid to let it go. And that's part of becoming wiser. So don't waste those lessons beating yourself up. Learn from them because the wisdom you have today was probably paid for by some decisions you wouldn't make again. And that's all right. That's growth. So the next time life puts you at one of those crossroads, don't just ask, what do I want to do? Ask, what does this moment require from me? Does it require me to trust? Does it require me to stand? Does it require me to even wait? Does it require me to speak, to even move? Or does it require me to leave something completely alone? And then ask harder. Ask yourself a harder question. Am I willing to do what I know is right, even when it's not what feels the easiest? Because, family, anybody can have faith when they can already see the answer. Anybody can feel courageous when there's nothing to lose. And everybody sounds wise when they're giving advice about somebody else's life. hmm But when it's in your heart, your reputation, your comfort, your relationship, your opportunity, even your future. And that's when faith, courage, and wisdom stop being words, they become character. So as we leave tonight, I'm not asking you to become fearless. I'm not asking you to have every answer. I'm certainly not asking you to fight every battle that comes knocking at your door. I'm asking you to become discerning enough to recognize the difference, to trust God enough that fear doesn't control you, to develop enough wisdom and emotion that doesn't lead you. And when you know what must be done, you'll have enough courage to do it. Because sometimes faith will tell you, trust something. Sometimes wisdom will tell you, wait. And sometimes courage will tell you, girl, go move, move. And sometimes all three will look at you at the same time and say, you already know what to do. Now go do it. Go do it. And remember, faith, courage, and wisdom. Know which one the moment requires. Cousin Carmen has come to us tonight from 16 and 13. 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. 13. She says, lean on faith when your own strength or understanding is insufficient. Ooh, that's Proverbs. I'm sorry. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. 1 Corinthians says, deploy courage when the status quo needs to be challenged. Ooh, and she's showing out tonight. She came with us with three of them. Ordering long-term hardship. Use wisdom when facing major transitions or forks in the road. And James says, apply wisdom to guard your speech and avoid unnecessary trouble. Proverbs 15 and 1. And all those molded all together. Let's read them all together. Lean on faith when your own strength or understanding is insufficient. Deploy courage when the status quo needs to be challenged. Ordering long-term hardship. Use wisdom when facing major transitions or forks in the road. And apply wisdom to guard your speech and avoid unnecessary trouble. We thank you, Cousin Carmen. Those are phenomenal tonight. And I hope everyone had a phenomenal time tonight. I did. And remember, you're my therapist. So if I got a little bit, tell a little bit of my life. Every week we will tell a little bit of more and more. I have to open up because I have to talk to my therapist. I can't keep hiding from y'all telling you it's not your business. But I hope if you gain or gather something tonight, and I hope that you understand how to make faith, courage, and wisdom run together, and how to use them properly, and how to allow this sometime to be quiet at the proper time. But when it's time to roar, find that lion inside yourself and you give him all you got to give him when the proper time comes. Until then, I'll see you Tuesday. I'll see you next Tuesday. Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We like, follow, we share Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Lemonade, and what? All of them at They Call Me Granny. And if you're at YouTube right now and you've enjoyed every bit of this conversation, give me a thumbs up. It's easy. It's right there on your screen. Hit the little thumbs up and let them know you enjoyed Granny tonight. And until then, I'll see you I'll see you on Tuesday. And before we leave out, remember, use your words wisely. Think before you speak. And if it calls it, if the time comes when you got to roll up your sleeves and let them have it, give it to them. but with the proper understanding of why they had to get it. I'll see you Tuesday, and welcome, welcome, welcome to Granny's house.
Knock, knock, who's there? It's the truth at the door. Don't wipe your feet, just bring your mess to the floor. This ain't no bedtime story, no cookies and milk. It's a straight shot of wisdom, smoother than silk. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Pull up your Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Oh, pull up your chair, let the stories unfold. It's laughter, it's lessons, it's love made of gold. Got a question, ask it, we're not shy in here. This is a safe space, honey, come face your fear. Got the mic hot, got the bass line deep. Granny's got the groove you wanna keep. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Welcome to Granny's house, where the real ones speak out loud. Sit down, take a sip of the tea. It's hot as bold, it's just what you need. Darling, lean in, we're breaking it down. Truth hits harder than the beat that pound. This is the spot where the real gets real. Granny's house is the place to hear.